Yo, what's up? Here's a review for Atlanta Season 3, and we're talking about Episodes 3 and Episodes 4. So those episodes are The Old Man in the Tree and The Big Payback. So with The Old Man in the Tree, Episode 3, this was a very, very interesting episode because we're finally starting to get the groove of things. The whole crew of Darius, what's their names? Darius and Earn, which is Donald Glover, Darius, Van, and Paperboy. They're all kind of getting together now, and they're going to some big party that they think is at a mansion. When they get there, it's at some like torn down flat in Amsterdam, but they have to go upstairs and they finally see the sprawling billionaire's pad that they wanted to see. They get in there and they start seeing stuff like they have a Nando's there, which is a chicken spot in the UK, and they have just a bunch of stuff all around, and you start to see things like Paperboy get into it with this older guy who he kind of befriends at first, and he ends up getting taken around the pads with him. And then you also get Earn, who starts to meet up with this other billionaire dude who they basically kind of get into this whole business deal where the billionaire dude wants Earn to just kind of see his artist and all this other things, and just kind of bounce ideas off of him. I really thought there was some interesting stuff done with this episode, and some pretty like funny and just crazy and outlandish stuff done. When you get Paperboy with the old dude, and they're kind of just walking around talking about the tree outside, and they get into there and they start playing poker together, and just that whole situation with them, that was pretty funny. I really enjoyed where they were going with just the conversations at the poker table, and just how they were talking about just, you know, this whole ghost story, and then their ideas on just different things that they were going through on that stuff. And then you also have with everything that was going on with Earn and that dude, and how he has this young black artist who isn't really talented at all, but the black artist is finessing this this billionaire dude. So that was pretty interesting. And then also Van and Darius and the situations going on with them. I really enjoyed the crazy shit that was going on with Darius' storyline, where you basically have him interacting with this Asian chick who's, you learn later on, is the girlfriend or fiance of one of the billionaire guys. And some white dude in the crowd takes something that she says to Darius as racist, and that spreads around the whole party. And it's kind of this whole white guilt thing where they're playing up on, where, you know, a white guy kind of takes up for a black person when it's not it needs to be, and it causes this big old ruckus to where the Asian girl is outside crying at the end of the episode. So I really enjoyed this episode. There were some really funny things going on here, and I just love Paperboy's little kind of explosion and blowing up to what was going on with the party, and him not being able to get his money after winning a poker game. I thought all of that was very fun and very just interesting ideas that they were throwing around. And also the whole thing with Earn and his billionaire guy, and he kind of understanding that this other black kid is playing the billionaire, but they also coming through conversations going, what does it matter? Like, he's a billionaire, he has money to spend, so I'm gonna play him too, and I'm kind of gonna somewhat join up with the kid, but also, you know, just taking money out of it, knowing that this shit is gonna be bullshit. It was interesting to see Earn kind of be more nonchalant. He's playing a lot more aloof than I remember him doing in the other seasons. I'm not sure. I need to rewatch the other seasons to see if he's this aloof over in those seasons. But I thought this was a pretty good episode. I'd probably give it like a 4 out of 5. I thought this was probably, along with the first episode, I thought this was probably one of my favorite episodes of this season. The next episode, I would say, is I'm a little bit more indifferent in, and that one is called The Big Payback. Now, this episode starts off where a white dude in a coffee shop, and he has to just go through his day-to-day life and picking up his daughter and everything, but you kind of hear over the radio all these kind of weird things and weird conversations happening, and you're not alluded to what was going on, and you come to find out there's a way that black people are getting reparations by suing the whole, I guess, everybody in America who's white. And just if your ancestors or lineage were owners of slaves, then your ass is getting sued. And so this white guy, who's through the whole episode not sure if anything's going to happen to him or if he's going to get sued at all, he finally ends up getting a notice, and the black lady that Shakisha ends up suing him. And the whole episode is just basically her following him around, ruining his life, and basically punishing him for something that his ancestors did. Now, I think this episode is very interesting on just what it brings up, and the idea of white people having to deal with the problems of their ancestors and how white people deal with it. I really like the part where his daughter is, before they get these servants to be sued, his daughter's asking, do we have slave history in our family? Are we racist and stuff like that? There's a whole point where she's like, are we racist? And she's kind of mad at her dad for, like, I guess making her white. But and it leads up to just everything that's going on. The dude is also, it's separated and about to be divorced, so that messes up everything that's going on with him. Like, it was a lot of interesting stuff going on with this. I would say that the things that I felt very mixed on is that it felt more like the black people had too much leeway in here. Like, for me, I understand that it's not supposed to be realistic 100%, but I would really have loved it if you really showed the anger that white people would show if something like this happened. If there was this whole thing where black people started suing white people because their ancestors were slave owners, and black people started getting money from it, like, white people would blow the fuck up. Like, that was the part where I kind of felt indifferent about this episode, and I was really wanting to see them play more into that, on how white people would really feel, what the cause of that would really be, kind of just what the devastation that would cause to this country in some ways, especially if you're attacking person by person, like, especially because a lot of that would be people from the South. So that would be very interesting to see how that would happen. I'm not sure if this episode was supposed to be set in Atlanta or not, but it was just a very interesting to see how they did it. It was, you know what? I would have loved to have seen an actual court case with this happen. And that was another kind of gripe I had, was that it felt like things were happening too quickly. Like, you're not just gonna get some black lady harassing this white dude and no one's gonna stop her, especially if all she did was serve him something. Like, you know, that's harassment. They would have to go to court. So I was expecting, like, there to be some type of court scene that happened out of this or something. I just wasn't feeling the way things were going on and the way things were happening. I like that we're having these bottleneck episodes that really don't have anything to do with the rest of the story, even though I would kind of want to see more stuff with the rest of the story. But I like how he's playing with these ideas and stuff like that. I would say I would have loved if he would have took a little bit more from the Dave Chappelle skit about reparations. Like, that was one where it really played with the idea of what would happen if black people got this money, and how crazy things would be, and how we would kind of do well with it, but also fuck it up at the same time. So I thought this was very interesting, and I thought they had some interesting things in here, but there was also some stuff that I was kind of meh about. I'm probably at a 2.75 at this episode. I think it's my least favorite, but with all of Donald Glover's stuff that he produces, it's all interesting. It all leads to some very cool ideas, and it's all leading to something just very fun. I mean, his cinematography is really, really good these episodes, and you could tell he's really having fun. He's really having some thought-provoking ideas, and he's just really playing around with stuff. So yeah, it's a couple pretty good episodes. I'm gonna be back with some more stuff after this, but I'm out of here. Peace.